Daredevil Born Again, episode 4, Sick Semper Systema. I don't know what that means. I don't know if that's a Lafian saying because Lafia was like all over this particular episode. Happy Lafian Day to everybody all across the world and everything. And let's get started. And before we get started, as always, hit that notification bell, like it or subscribe. You know, check out my other reviews on my YouTube channel. Help me get my watch time hours up so we can get monetized, hopefully, and I can bring you some more goodness to infinity and beyond. Now let's get started with a little Daredevil action. So, in this particular episode, it takes place after the White Tiger died. And it starts with some random guy in another white costume with like red blood coming from his eyes. Obviously, this is a some sort of Marvel villain character. I don't know who it is. If you know who this person is or who he's supposed to be, let me know in the comment section down below. He's carrying a body. He's taking the body off to God knows where. As he's taking the body off to God knows where, it now focuses to Matt Murdock, who's in the hospital, because the body of Hector is in the hospital. Because remember, we lost the White Tiger in the last episode, and Matt's trying to figure out, how he died and who set him up. While he's doing that, while he's talking to the doctor, this young Latina girl walks into the hospital. She's like, "Where's my tío?" So obviously, her name is Angela, not Ava, and clearly she's going to be the new White Tiger because she gave this whole speech with Matt Murdock. She was just like, "Oh, the police aren't doing anything. There's corruption, and nobody cares, and the people who are supposed to, protect and serve are the ones hurting us." And she's like, "I want to see my uncle." Blah, blah. So like this is like a hero origin story. Like clearly this is an origin story. And then they put the White Tiger costume along with the amulet in a plastic bag. And because she was there, I would assume they would give her uncle's belongings. And because he said that the amulet, it chooses you, like it calls out to you. I'm pretty sure it's going to end up linking with Angela, and then she's going to end up altering the costume and then putting it on, and she's going to go out there and start fighting crime. And I know the character as Ava, not Angela. This is obviously going to be one of those situations where we can't keep like harping on the comic book. I mean, clearly the people that are behind this stuff, they know about the comic book. They obviously read the comic book. They know about the character, and they chose to go in a different direction. So we just got to live with it. This is what we're getting. That's it. So it's like can't complain about it forever. So now, so Matt, so like I said, so Matt talks to Angela. He calms her down. She's crying in his arms, and now he goes back to work. While he's back at work, his partner calls, and then she's just like, "Hey, this place that we owe a favor to, they need you to take a case." It was some random black dude who got pinched for stealing caramel corn at a local bodega. Matt goes down to try to get him off on the case, or at least try to reduce his sentence. The district attorney or the attorney general or the woman that he spoke to try to get the guy's sentence was fine as fuck. So I kind of wish he would have been with her instead of the marriage counselor. And the thing with the marriage counselor, she's attractive, but I feel like she's prettier when she has her hair in the ponytail. Like when she's doing her job, when she's counseling Wilson Fisk and Vanessa, like when she's doing the counseling, she looks gorgeous. But then when she has her hair out and she's just hanging out with Matt regularly, she looks like a normal woman. So I'm just like, how is this two different people? But the woman he was talking to in the courthouse, goddamn. So he's talking to her, he's flirting with her. Like two of them are going back and forth, and then he ends up getting the guy's sentence reduced to 10 days in prison. He goes back and he tells the guy, he's like, "Yo, I got you 10 days. And he's like, "That's not enough, man. I want probation. Like I shouldn't have to do probation." And see, and here's the thing. Like I said, I live in New York City. I understand how it goes. Like, I'm black. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm down for the cause. I get it. But this is one of those situations where, like, I can't defend this because they said that, the guy has a rap sheet, like, what he's stolen before. And then he proceeds, like he gets mad at Matt for giving him 10 days in prison where they were trying to give him more, especially based on his past. And they said every time we gave him a reduced sentence, he kept ending up back in here again. And then he gives Matt this whole, first of all, he was making fun of Matt the whole time for being blind. And it's like, I'm supposed to be helping you and you trying to play me. But then when Matt told him he got 10 days and he was just like, "That's not good enough." And he was just like, "Look, well, that's what you're getting." He's like, "I don't know what you want me to do." Then he tells him a story. He's like, "Oh, I was getting SSI. And because I was in jail, I missed my appointment and my SSI got cut. And all these things happened after that. And now I'm doing this." And he was like, "I just get meals from the local pantry. But hey, today I wanted something sweet." And the thing is, I understand where he's coming from. Like, I feel where he's coming from. But I can't feel sorry for you because you're the reason why you ended up in jail. Like, it's like, yeah, the system is rigged. Yes, the system works against you. But you stole something. Like, it's not like he was in a situation where he got arrested for a crime he didn't commit. He actively stole this caramel corn. And because you've stolen things it's not even like this was your first offense. Like this wasn't your first offense. You've repeatedly done this. So where's the accountability? It's like even if he would have said, hey, listen, yeah, I stole food. Yes, this isn't my first time stealing food. I've done this before, but I'm homeless or like I ain't got no money or something. I got to do what I got to do. Even then you can slightly, like give him a pass for that, but then you could just tell him like, well, do what you got to do to get off your feet and get a job. You know what I'm saying? Like you get a job. Like that's not that hard to do because he looks like he didn't look homeless. He looked like he was, he was very well and capable of working. But then for him to just be like, oh, all these bad things are happening to me because the system's rigged against me, as though he didn't contribute to some of the things that happened to him. Like to me, I was just like, yeah, I can't agree with that one. Like accountability is key, people. So then, so Matt left and he made Matt feel bad. Matt left. So now Matt's investigating, like the crime scene where White Tiger was. And he, a motorcycle had drove by and then it knocked a bottle over. And I don't know how the fuck he did this shit. Like, I understand he blind. And I understand he has, like, heightened senses because he can't see. But Jesus Christ, he knocked a bottle that perfectly rolled down a small hill and went into a storm drain. And it hit a bullet shell. And he went into the drain and pulled out the bullets. And I'm just like, I understand Matt Murdock's like abilities and everything, but goddamn, like, he ain't that good. Like, nah, that's too good. That is way too good. And then he felt that the bullet shell had the Punisher logo on it. And then because of the Punisher logo, he went to Frank Castle's whereabouts, where Frank Castle's living, and just walked into his house. And I'm just like, what the fuck? I'm like, he ain't this good. Like, Matt Murdock, it's like, did he just sniff? Because, see, that wasn't one of Frank Castle's bullets. Like, I could understand if he sniffed the bullet or something and he got Frank Castle's scent and it made him go to Frank Castle. He felt the Punisher logo and just automatically knew where Frank Castle was. And the two of them, the interaction the two of them had, this isn't the first time since the Marvel Netflix aspect of the show ended. From the Netflix aspect up until now, this isn't the first time the two of them have had a conversation, because there was no like, hey, I haven't seen you in 5 years or anything like that. Matt legitimately knew where he was. Like, he just walked to his house and just knew where he was. And then he found him in the basement where he had surveillance and everything because he's like overviewing the city. And the last time we saw him, he went to a warehouse and he shot up that warehouse full of like, young gangster kids. But then now he looks like, I thought he quit. I thought he retired because Madani had offered him a position. He told Madani, fuck you. He's like, I'm good here on the streets. And then he was just doing the vigilante thing. But when we saw him now with his hair all grown out and the beard and everything, I thought he quit doing the vigilante thing. Apparently he's still doing it. But, Matt went to him and he was just like, hey, look, a guy that, died under my watch, I was doing research on how he died and I found this, which has your logo on it. And then that's when, Frank was just like, oh, he was like, those fucking fanboys. So he's aware that these people exist and he's not doing anything about it. And then he was just like, this ain't got shit to do with me, Red. And then he was like, what do you mean it doesn't have anything to do with you? It has everything to do with you. And see, now the two of them get into their old school fashion, like philosophical thing, where he was like, yo, don't come in here with that superhero bullshit. He was just like, oh, so you're just going in here just killing people left and right. And he was like, yeah, because I get the job done. And he was like, I can hear my little boy telling me, go get him, daddy. And he was like, when I go, it was way too casual. The whole thing about him doing like the Punisher's return and him just doing what he does, the two of them having that conversation, that shit was way too casual. It was way too casual. But then he said to him, he said, you didn't come here to basically, ask me, questions or whatever. He said, you came here to ask me for permission because you feel guilty that you couldn't save this guy. He said the guy died on your watch and you still see his face. You still hear his voice. Maybe he doesn't see his face. He still hears his voice. He still hears his voice and it keeps you up at night. He's like, and you feel bad because you wish that you could have did more to save him. And then he was just like, oh, I'm doing everything that I can in the court of the law. And he was like, fuck the court of the law. And then the two of them got into it. Matt punched him in the face. And then he apologized. He was like, I'm not that person anymore. And he was just like, bullshit. He was just like, you want to do more. I'm doing more every single day. He's like, I'm going out there taking care of these criminal sons of bitches. And then he goes, what about Bullseye? He's like, Bullseye's sitting in prison. He was like, what about Foggy? He said, Bullseye's sitting in prison and he breathes the same air as you do every single day. And he's like, and you're okay with that? And then Matt's like, he got life in prison. And he's like, well, what about Foggy? He didn't get life. I was saying, like, Foggy got death. And then Matt was just like, yeah, but Foggy was the best person I ever knew, and he was better than you and I. And then he walked out, and then the two of them, and then Frank was just, I don't know why Frank looked dejected. Like Frank was just standing there looking sad, and then Matt walked out. So I don't, like, I don't understand what happened with that whole thing. So then that was the last time we saw Frank in the episode. So then Matt goes home. He goes and talks to his psychiatrist lady. The two of them get it on, and then while they're in bed together, he gets up and he goes to the roof. The Kingpin now. The Kingpin portion, because this is a collision course. Like Daredevil is not the only character who's born again. The white dude that works for the Kingpin, I believe his name is like Anderson or some shit. I forget his name, but he was partying with BB, and I don't even know how he knows BB, why he know like. Either he's simping hard for BB and the girl don't like him and she's just using him, for whatever it is she wants to use him for. They know each other from something in the past. I still think this guy is like his illegitimate child. Like I think this is like the Kingpin's illegitimate child because this boy don't make no sense. Like his awkward, heavy devotion to the Kingpin, it's just weird to me. To the point where he's not just like some random guy that just believes in the mayor. He has a personal interest in Wilson Fisk as a human being. And I feel like maybe that might be like his illegitimate son or something. So anyway, while him and BB were partying, BB got him drunk. And then when she got him drunk, she started asking him questions about Fisk's campaign because I feel like she secretly knows that he killed her uncle. And then his drunk ass spilled the beans. Fisk found out about it the next day. And then he got upset, and then he cursed out his entire administration. So he was like, who did this? Heads are going to roll. And then that's when the kid stood up, and he said, that was me, boss. He was like, I got drunk, I fucked up. And he said, I believe in you, Mr. Fisk. He was like, I believe in your campaign. He's like, I don't deserve this job. I don't deserve to be here. And, I understand, like, whatever punishment you have for me, I'll take whatever punishment you have for me, like, no questions asked. And then Kingpin felt bad, and he was just like, all right. He's like, I'll give you your job back, but don't do that shit again. And again, that is weird to me. Like his awkward, undying devotion to Wilson Fisk is weird to me. He has to be like his illegitimate kid. He has to be. So that was it. Boy kept his job, whatever. So Fisk and Vanessa, like they're in counseling, and then while they're in counseling, we bring up Adam. So Adam gets brought up, and then she was just like, oh, and the thing about like Vanessa that's pissing me off is like this bitch has like no remorse for the cheating at all. She has entirely no remorse. Like when she's in counseling together, she's basically blaming him for why she slept with another man. And yes, Fisk was wrong for walking out because that was his wife. You know what I'm saying? It's like you don't just walk out on your wife. So he was wrong for walking out and for disappearing or whatever. Like, I get that. Like, he's definitely wrong for that. But he didn't make you be physically intimate with another man. You made that choice yourself. And she's in counseling acting like it doesn't matter and like she doesn't care. Like, her attitude in counseling is like pissing me off because to his credit, he's legitimately trying. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, is he simping just a little bit? Yes, but that is his wife, so you can't blame him for fighting for his marriage. This bitch just don't give a shit. Like, she's just like, whatever, Wilson. She's like, yes, he did me in ways that, you would never imagine, but, you weren't there. And I'm just like, okay. And then when the counseling session was over, she wanted to talk to Vanessa alone, and I was thinking she was going to tell Vanessa, like, look, you need to act like you give a shit in these counseling sessions because you look like you don't want to save your marriage and you look like you don't care about him. She asked him, she was like, oh, do you feel safe? Like, what? like, what do you mean, do you feel safe? And she was just like, yes, I feel safe or whatever. And then, like, that was it. So then they were at dinner, and then, during the conversation, they also said when they were talking about Adam, they were just like, the counselor, the psychiatrist, she was like, where's Adam now? And then both of them were like, we don't know. And then Vanessa was like, Wilson did something to him. And he was like, I would never. He was like, I'm not that man anymore. And then he was just like, I don't know what happened to him. He did say he spoke to him. He was like, I spoke to him and I told him what you mean to me, but I don't know what happened to him. And she don't believe him. So anyway, because the psychiatrist asked, she was like, did you end the affair? And she was like, I didn't get the chance to end the affair because, he kidnapped him or whatever. So, so the two of them are at dinner. They're having more conversation. She's like, tell me what happened to Adam. And he's like, I don't know what you mean, babe. So then like they're still trying to work out their shit. Fisk gets up, he leaves the house, and he goes to some underground like sewer cave or some shit. Fisk is underground, and then you see the famous painting from the first 3 seasons of Daredevil. You see the painting. Fisk goes into his underground cavern where he has like his meal, his candle, and his wine, just like he did back in the day when he was the Kingpin. And then while he's having his wine and having his dinner, Adam is locked up in a prison cell begging Fisk to let him out. So he basically like he didn't kill him, but he kidnapped Adam and he locked him up. And I'm like, bro, he doesn't even know you. Like, he probably didn't even know that he probably didn't even know that Vanessa was married. Your anger is misplaced. You're mad at the wrong person. You're mad at Adam, and you should be mad at your wife for doing the deed with the next man. But he's just like, oh, forgiveness, you know, like is key. And he's like, I'm trying to forgive. Meanwhile, he got this poor man locked up in a goddamn cage. So, and then Matt was on the roof where he keeps all his. It's funny because like Wilson keeps his shit in the basement, Matt keeps his shit on the roof, and he busts out like his Daredevil costumes, his helmets, and everything. He busts out the batons, and he's on the roof practicing, you know, like his martial arts or practicing like his boxing and everything. Because although Wilson Fisk and Matt Murdock were two people who genuinely wanted to save the city the right way and do good, circumstances both beyond and in their control are forcing them to become the people that they no longer wanted to be. The Kingpin is slowly coming back, and Daredevil is slowly returning. I mean, for Daredevil, that'll be a good thing, but you know, for the Kingpin, we'll see where this goes, because I don't know, like I'm starting to think Vanessa in trouble too, because your man, he going crazy. And then in the final scene, the same guy from the beginning who had the white costume with the blood coming out of his eyes, we saw where he was carrying that boy. He put him in the basement, and he was draining the blood out of his system along with like other people who he had kidnapped and started draining blood out of their system. I guess it's about time we got an actual villain that's gonna bring Daredevil back. I don't know who this person is. If you know who this is from the comic, let me know in the comment section down below. That was how this particular episode ended, and thank you for tuning in. So yeah, this was a good episode though. Like, it was very good because Daredevil's almost back. Like, Daredevil's coming, he's slowly coming back because the conversation with Frank Castle, you know, like he said, he feels like he's not doing enough. Like, he could do more. He could do more to save the city. So he's really trying here. But Daredevil's slowly creeping back out, and he's going to be back any minute now. And same thing with Fisk. Like, Fisk was trying to be mayor. He was trying to do things the right way, but underhanded tactics and gangsterism is what's going to get results. And especially his whole thing with his heartbroken thing over Vanessa and everything, like that's what's going to put him over the edge. I said, but I'm interested. I want to know who this new villain person is. When exactly is Angela going to put on the costume? But share your questions, comments, and or concerns down below, and let's continue to talk about it. Check out my other reviews because I got Harley Quinn up on my channel. The season finale of Harley Quinn season 5. We'll see if it's the series finale, because you know James Gunn, you know, he cutting ties all over the place. And I said, you know, but then right after Harley Quinn, we'll see what the next project is. I'm almost there with that Captain America, y'all. I swear to God, I'm gonna hit y'all with that Captain America. I said, but until then, let's enjoy this Daredevil goodness until we get something new to review on Red Eyes Entertainment. Check me out on X. Check me out on Instagram. Check me out on TikTok, where you can leave your questions, comments, concerns, always on YouTube, and we'll keep rolling on and keep talking about it until there's nothing left to talk about in the world of superheroes, action, and everything else in between. So that was it, guys. So thanks for tuning in. Happy Lafayette Heritage Day to everybody. Until next week, to some more Daredevil. We're out this bitch.